welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel 4. Don't mind if I do. Also, I was trying to talk last time about how I look at words. See, if I read this very fast, I would probably add a word, or I would put some letters together and start making a different word, and that's why I see the word how it is. By the way, was the Silver Streak an acquaintance of yours, Cassius? Yes, she was a pupil of mine at the guild. It's very odd that she's vanished into thin air. Yes, no one seems to be able to track down her whereabouts. If she wasn't at the gnome's HQ, could it be possible that Ouroboros abducted her? No, Sasha has a relative who's among the ranks of Ouroboros. I find it hard to believe that they'd kidnap her. I think I know who you mean. Sasha's mentioned her to me when we went out on drinking. Enforcer number 4, the Bewitching Bell, yes? Duvley. Yep, that's her. She showed up in a burrow during the Orbital shutdown, too. But it's unknown whether she's still alive. It seems she hasn't reported back to Ouroboros since that incident. They haven't written her off as dead yet, though. It's assumed that the situation is similar to Blue Block's, that she's out there somewhere going about her business. The Silver Streak was like a sister to her, though. She wouldn't keep quiet if Ouroboros abducted her. I see. We might as well drop that line of investigation. My, if that isn't the stalwarters Duvley the Swift! You seem very well informed. I could say the same about you, especially considering you don't have ties with Ouroboros herself. I understand why the Faceless was remarkably wary of you. My ward is also intrigued by you. If you don't mind, I'd like to hear how you achieved mastery in so many disciplines. Oh. Swordplay, military arts, strategy. And I hear your master's disciple Arios is just like you. Yes, I've heard rumors about him. Just for reference, if you could tell us if there's any particular trick to it. Not that it impresses me all that much, but both you and Arze were renowned as the finest swordsman alive, so it must count for something. I can't think of many honors greater than the Maiden of Legend herself taking an interest in me. Well, ask me anything, and I'll try to satisfy your curiosity, although we may not be able to get into much detail this time. That's fine. First of all, why did you give up the sword and switch to the staff? Duvley's so easy to read, but that's part of her charm. She's polite to everyone and doesn't look down on others even if they're her enemy. As expected of the Steel Maiden's disciple, I look up to her as well. Sasha and I are actually the same age. Plus, we both like our alcohol. We had a few drinks together and really hit it off. Like 2 drunk peas in a pod. I am worried about her. I just can't imagine the Silver Streak going down without a fight, you know? I have to believe that she's safe. I'm right there with you, Sarah. The staff, huh? Never a weapon favored by my family. Thrust with a spear, sweep with a nagita, slash with a greatsword is a motto I've heard. Yes, that's an Eastern saying. I'm surprised you knew it. Did you pick that up from our? Her style is partially influenced by Eastern swordsmanship, that's swordplay. Though not quite the same as the staff. I've seen her make use of nagata before. Sounds like a valuable experience. It looks like the rumors about the Stormwatcher's talents are true then. I thought I sensed someone spying from over here. To be honest, I'm honored that you think of me worthy of your attention, Duvley the Swift. Guess I should have known I couldn't stay hidden from you. But don't get the wrong idea. I wasn't just sitting over there for your meeting to end or anything. Anyway, I have a few questions about your school's concept of entanglement, or enlightenment. Very well, I can't promise it'll be very comprehensive, but I'll tell you what I can. I'm really curious about what just the Divine Blade of Wind has achieved himself, but I probably shouldn't butt into their chat. I'm gonna save before talking to them. This is not a very good sight. I have a feeling Angelica is gonna be getting herself a bunch of ladies in her grip. Hi, I'm Kia Bannings. Ren told me lots about you, Tita. Nice to meet you. I'm Tita Russell. I can't believe it, Ren. She's so cute. Yeah, that's how most people react to her. You must be Angelica Rogner. Nice to meet you. I'm Ren Bright. I hear you've been trained the Taito style by Kilika Ruin. Oh, that's cool. It's nice to meet you, Angie. Or do you like Jellica better? This is paradise. What? Angelica, are you alright? We're only 2,000 arch above ground, but it seems we're flying so close to the heavens. Tito alone is an angel, but the three of you together form an angelic choir. No, remain calm, Angelica. Celine, what's going on here? Beats me. I was just having a nap and woke up to this. I can't stand it anymore! Angelica? She's faster than lightning. Hug attack! I'm not doing that. My wife is complete! You're just going to stand by and watch this happen, huh, Rean? I'm just waiting for things to calm down so I can say hello. How can I lose control so easily? Still, I have no regrets. Angelica, please try to calm down. If you get any more wiped out, you'll end up having a heart attack. That aside, the fact that you're all girls doesn't mean your antics aren't sexual harassment. Oh, hey, Celine. Here, kitty. Come on, turn to a cat girl for me, please. Do it to save me from my beastly instincts. Keep your dirty paws off me. Please go take a cold shower or something for all our sakes. Hey, sorry about Angelica. She's a good person, she's just, well, I'm used to getting hugs. It reminded me of something George told me about her. Yeah? Yeah, she may be a practitioner of Taito style, but her movements there were inhuman. Wasn't she being manipulated by the gnomes? Maybe they did something to her that stuck. Oh, no. She's just like this. I like Angie a lot. You can never have enough cuddles. Sweet Adios, her cuteness is making my brain melt. Maybe you should give her a chance to cool off, you know? Before she explodes or something. Well, that was an interesting one. I'm going to save again now. Actually, I should save, like, outside the door, in here. There is also a pup who very much wants to go out, and I'm going to do that. I should do that. When the hell does this act end? Let's go. I hope we're finally done talking. Can't find anything to do. Hello, Duvui the Swift. I was just wandering around. You can drop the whatever. If you can be informal with Lloyd and Estelle, why not me? It was just a slip of the tongue. Besides, there's not much of an age difference between the three of us. I feel like I should be more respectful when talking to you. Are you implying that, from your point of view, I'm old? No, definitely not. She's what, 23? She doesn't even look old. But it's probably best to drop it. Anyway, Lady Mildine has some influence in the higher echelons than I imagined. She's got her prominent political figures, Bracers, the Special Support Section, and all of you under the same roof. Even the Black Fang and the Angel of Slaughter are present. Ah, that's right. Do you know them through Ouroboros? Yes, I was familiar with the Blade Ward who often work with them. Joshua Astray left Ouroboros around the time I joined. I see. That must be when the Brights took him in. Hey, what you guys talking about? Swapping some sexy little secrets, I hope. Is that all you ever think about? How's the intel gathering going, Crow? Well, Randolph's chatty as ever, but it's Joshua that's a real treasure trove of info. And it isn't weird, and isn't it kind of weird Vita isn't here? Yeah, Emma seems confused about it too. You both know what she's like. Probably busy on some grand scheme behind the scenes. Have you noticed tension in the air? I guess. I think I know what you mean. It's not just you Awakeners are particularly sensitive to it. Everyone gathered here is senses something ominous brewing. I mean, yeah, having everyone here, if they find out even the tiniest bit of information, we're going to have everybody coming after us on this ship. Everybody. Whether there's any connection to Operation Mile Mirage or not, we'll likely find out at dinner. Yeah. There's the rivalries too. The calm before the storm might be over pretty soon. It could just be me, but we better be prepared. Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens. I'll keep my eyes and ears open and see what else I can learn. My apologies for disturbing your unpleasant conversation. Oh, Butler. Okay.
Dinner is now ready to be served. May I please ask you to proceed to the banquet hall?
Yeah, thanks. I remember the food here being pretty good. Yes, it was cooked by the finest chefs those Erebonian nobles could find. Those fish burgers of yours were quite delectable as well, I must admit. Sometimes simple is the best. I'm surprised you remember. Honestly, that was a while ago. They weren't anything special, just a quick and easy meal. Hey, I've been looking for you guys everywhere. The dinner is about to start. Great, I'm starving. But the discussion that follows is the main course, isn't it? That's right, it's more than just a social event. Let's get going, it's rude to keep food waiting. This dinner is gonna be freaking crashed. Yeah, afterward, all the guests, including the leaders of each state, gathered together at the banquet. A modest but wonderful meal thus began, provided by Duchess Cayenne. The lunch started a bit later, but the guests thoroughly enjoyed the fare and had lively conversations. It was a unique opportunity for the attendees, and many meaningful exchanges were made. Sometime later. Enjoyable as it was, the meal came to an end. Everyone then transitioned into the meeting portion of the event. The details of Mile Mirage were revealed. And you blue balls me with Ordis' theme.
What you see before you is an outline of Operation Mile Mirage, our response to Operation Jormungand.
I knew it.
It doesn't stray too far from what we'd expected, but even so...
Seeing it all laid out like this makes it overwhelmingly real.
I get that a plan this crazy is probably our only hope, but... still... we're really gonna do this, huh?
The Empire has drastically increased its military might, due largely in part to the draft. Current estimates number their forces at 1.2 million strong, and that figure will only rise before the fighting actually starts.
On the other hand, Calvard's military can barely scrape together 800,000, at most. Even if they try to boost their ranks with a draft of their own, that probably won't go over too well.
Not to mention the huge difference in weapons and resources between the two countries. In terms of both aerial combat fleets and core tank units, Erebonia has a clear advantage. And that's without taking Panzer Soldats into account.
Yeah. There's no way the Verne Company's production line could even hope to keep up. What's more, the Empire now has an excuse to throw all the new technology it's been developing into this war.
With that in mind, it's entirely possible that the Civil War was nothing more than an opening move.
I agree. It seems likely. The same could be said of the orbital shutdown phenomenon, or even the 100 Days' War. It is our belief that these events were simply set up, all to pave the way for Operation Jormungand.
Damn it! Those monsters!
And Mille Mirage is your plan for how to hold back Operation Jormungand. We have with us the Republican Army of Calvard, the Royal Army of Liberl, the Remiferian and Viceland armies, as well as the troops from Le Mans and Orid, and even resistance cells acting out of Crossbell and Northumbria.
You intend to coordinate every one of these individual forces united under a single banner to suppress the Imperial Army from all sides.
That's exactly right.
As you stated before, Calvard's armed forces total 800,000 strong. The Viceland army should bring that number up by about 100,000.
The Principality of Remiferia is prepared to lend its aid as well, to the effect of approximately 80,000 troops. Add to that figure an additional 120,000 from the Kingdom of Liberl.
Further, we can count on receiving around 20,000 soldiers from Le Mans and Orid combined, as well as another 10,000 from Crossbell and Northumbria. And this is to remain off the record, but we're expecting roughly 30,000 in reinforcements from Arteria as well.
Naturally, we plan on bringing Jaegers into the fight too.
Man, we're getting everyone.
We've been scouting out Jaeger corps big and small. All in all, I'd say we're looking at a good 40,000 extra soldiers.
Altogether a combined total of 1.2 million, finally putting us on even ground with Operation Jormungand.
A war like this would stretch over almost half the continent.
Resistance cells from Crossbell, huh? That must be Sonia and the others.
Yeah, Muriel told me a bit about it, but...
Northumbria too? That have something to do with the movements we heard about there?
Yeah. The resistance there is made up of former members of the Northern Jaegers, who got absorbed into the Imperial Army.
And we got troops from Le Mans and Orid too. That would be their defense forces, no?
That's right. We've actually known about their involvement for a little bit.
I have to say, I'm surprised the High Seat of the Septian Church would choose to involve themselves so directly.
But Rosine mentioned something about this earlier, didn't she?
Yes. The Congregation for Divine Worship is likely deploying the Papal Guard as we speak.
The Imperial Army's technological superiority is undeniable, and we can't underestimate the threat Ouroboros poses either. Further, directing and coordinating all parties involved will prove a tremendously difficult task. That is the purpose of our meeting, to determine who will serve as the key piece in our plan, the cornerstone upon which we can build our success. I present to you Cassius Bright, Lieutenant General of the Royal Army of Liberl, and, as of today, Supreme Commander of Operation Mille Mirage.
What? Now that's what I call a power move.
A natural decision. Lieutenant General Bright did head the search and destroy operations against the cult in Crossbell.
What's more, he can already boast having pushed back an Imperial invasion once before. He's the most brilliant tactician of our time, without a doubt.
I should have known.
So you've accepted the position then, Dad? Even after hearing everything that's going to happen as a result of this plan?
I have. This can truly be called the Great War, the likes of which mankind has never seen before. A war that will surely destroy the lives of all it touches, soldiers and civilians alike. Hundreds of thousands of lives. Worst comes to worst, we could see casualties in the millions.
Millions?
Yeah, that's definitely possible. But at least it will keep the Empire from completely destroying everything.
Yeah, she has a point.
I think I speak for us all when I say this dreadful decision weighs heavily on our hearts. But there are stakes here far more dire than the invasion of Calvard itself. Namely, Erebonia's 2 Septarians, as well as its curse, which spreads further and further with every land it conquers.
It's all connected.
If we don't act soon, the Republic will fall to the Empire's advance, drowning the entire nation in its curse. It would then only be a matter of time before the surrounding countries fell as well, until finally all of Zemuria is in the curse's grasp. All for the sake of reviving the ultimate being, the Great One. This we must avoid above all else. If this dreadful decision is the only chance we have of saving our world, then so be it.
This whole catastrophe began in Erebonia. Though I can't personally agree to this plan, as a member of the Imperial family, I must allow it.
Your Highness.
This is the consensus we have reached. I trust you understand now the reason we've gathered here.
There are a few things we must ask you now, namely if you accept the necessity of our plan. And furthermore, if we can count on your cooperation.
I'm sure you'd like some time to talk things over amongst yourselves, and with your other allies as well. But as you can probably tell, that's time we just don't have.
Members of the Bracer Guild, Special Support Section, Class 7, and Thor's Military Academy as a whole. We need your answers, here and now. How do you respond?
When it comes down to it, we, the Special Support Section, are just a single division of the CPD. We're in no position to defy the will of a nation, let alone 4. We understand the severity of the situation. But be that as it may, we can't, in good faith, lend our aid to this cause. There has to be a better way to fix this mess we're in. And we won't back down until we figure out how. Not just to stop this war, but so that someday, Crossbell can take back its independence for good.
I see.
You can count the Bracer Guild out of this deal, too. We're the supporting gauntlet of the common people. Their security and protection will always come first. But at the same time, we understand that you have to do this. So instead, we'll make sure to get in touch with our headquarters in Le Mans to organize an evacuation plan for all the citizens. And in the meantime, we'll look for our own way to resolve this. Just like the SSS. That's the Bracer Guild's decision.
Estelle.
Ah.
With so many of us still missing, we can't claim to speak for Thors as a whole. But we can, at the very least, tell you our decision as Class 7. Become the foundation of the world. In a sense, those words have shaped our class from the very beginning. A war this big is certainly one way to keep the curse in check. We could be a new foundation afterwards. One built over ruins and destruction. But this curse is not absolute. Though it sweeps across the nation, toying with our fate, there are still those who stand together to resist it. We've seen as much with our very own eyes. We need a plan to try and ensure the safety of the world as we know it. Mille Mirage can be that plan. But, like the Guild and the SSS, we choose to find a third path forward for ourselves. That means dealing with any incidents brought about by the curse, as well as the rivalries. Whether or not that's even possible, I don't know. Time is running out on us even as we speak. Yet still, we'll continue to tread forward, step by step. Because we owe it to Prince Olivert to find that third path he always strove to take.
Rean.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
The path Prince Olivert would have wanted.
I see.
My goodness. The naivete of youth never fails to astound me. And yet, as history shows us, it is precisely the young and foolish who bring change to the world.
The same could be said of those not bound by duty or tradition. Come to think of it, Prince Olivert himself embodied every one of those qualities.
He most certainly did. And his spirit lives on in this next generation.
We have heard your convictions, clear and true. Operation Meal Mirage is already underway. But so long as you respect our position, we will respect yours in turn.
You're under no obligation to participate in our plan. That said, we'd appreciate your help wherever possible. That includes exchanging information, keeping civilians safe, and so on.
We certainly have more room to cooperate than Operation Jormungand does at the very least. You Bracers played a pivotal role in solving the incidents in Liberl, as did the Special Support Section in Crossbell. I eagerly await seeing what such seasoned heroes can bring to the table.
Thank you. We won't disappoint.
I don't know if I'd call us heroes exactly, but we'll help out in any way we can.
Well, that suspense was killing me.
As grim as our circumstances are, we now know what our mission must be.
Right! We gotta do everything we can to stop this war before it begins. And even if it does, we'll just have to find a way to end it.
Right. Our first course of action is figuring out exactly what we can accomplish right now as members of Thors. I imagine the rivalries will play a key role in that.
Agreed.
You're all pretty gung-ho about this, huh?
How are you guys so relentlessly positive about everything?
It really is the most annoying thing about them, isn't it?
Wait a sec.
I know that voice.
It's him!
Enforcer number 0 of Ouroboros.
Campanella, show yourself.